Resident Evil 2, a remake, has been confirmed, and that's really cool to me. There was like rumors before, and there was like a survey, like some sort of hypothetical, like yeah, like if we did make Resident Evil 2, like what do you want in it? Um, and then I remember the producer, who I think was the same producer, the one who decided to have the HD versions of Resident Evil 1 remake, come to next gen consoles, had I guess like a pitch for what he wanted to do with Resident Evil 2, and I guess that pitch went through. I guess Capcom liked what he wanted to do with it, and they confirmed it now, which is kind of weird. This is the kind of thing that to me is like a big deal. So you think it would happen like at a conference? Like Tokyo Game Show's not that far away. Maybe they'll have some sort of trailer by then. I don't know. Probably not. I think it's just very, very, very early. So maybe they were just super excited. Dude seemed like he just wanted, like, dude, it's happening. Resident Evil 2 remake, and I think people have been asking for that like for a really long time, especially after the very first Resident Evil remake on GameCube. That's the kind of thing that you just sort of dream of. The Resident Evil 1 remake was so good, and I'm not entirely sure what's gonna happen with this one. Like, I don't know, is it gonna be like Resident Evil 6-ish, but within Resident Evil 2? Like, that personally wouldn't bother me. Obviously, you wouldn't have co-op, I guess. I feel like I'm probably be okay with whatever they do. I'm actually really positive on Resident Evil games, and I really like Resident Evil 6. I know there's a lot of things in there like, well, this is dumb. It's like, yeah, but the, you know, well, this is dumb. This thing can be said about every Resident Evil ever. But I still thought that it was really fun to play. So that wouldn't bother me. If it's just going to be completely like overhaul, new models and new assets and all that stuff, but it still plays like old school static cameras and fixed camera angles, whatever. Um, I'm fine with that too, because to this day I still like playing Resident Evil 2, and if I watch anyone, on YouTube play it, I always end up feeling like I gotta go back and play it myself too. It's not the kind of game that I can talk about without getting all excited for and go and play myself. Mainly because Resident Evil 2, that was the first Resident Evil that I played, and I'm not even entirely sure why it is that I bought it. I was a little kid and I got it for N64, and it was my first N64 game because Nintendo stopped putting games with the thing. I remember when I opened my N64 and I was like, there's no Mario game to come with this? Well, that sucks. So I never bought Mario 64. I refused. I was like in middle school and I was just like, no, that's bullshit, man. And I don't know. So Resident Evil 2 was like the first thing that I bought, which is kind of funny. Like I got my N64 like the year before Resident Evil 2 had come out, and so like I didn't have a game. I got that like for my birthday, and then I didn't get Resident Evil 2 until my birthday again. So I had an N64 for like a year without actually owning anything. And then I got Resident Evil 2. I'm pretty sure that was the first thing I got. But I also got Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, which I really like that game too. I don't know, when I opened it was like, oh wow, the cartridge is black. That must be hardcore. And yeah, but I can't remember what I got first. But I feel like it's Resident Evil because I still remember the trip to the store and being all excited and getting the box. And anyway, it was the very first time I played a Resident Evil game, and when I was growing up, I wasn't that into zombies the way that I am now. I had never seen it, and I told this story on here before, but like, my cousin made some Living Dead reference, and I didn't understand it because I never saw the movies, and then he was just like, "You don't know where that's from?" And I'm like, "No." And then he was like, "It's from Living Dead. You've never seen Living Dead?" I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know what you want. I'm a little kid. What do you want out of me?" And anyway, then he said, "Oh, you got to see it." And I was just like, "Oh, we could go and rent. We could go and rent the VHS tapes." That's how long ago this was. We could go rent the VHS tapes, but we had to hurry because the store's gonna close. And we ran all the way over there, and we rented everything, and we watched them all, and just marathoned it, and it just blew my mind. And we just talked about zombies and like, oh man, okay, what if zombies were real? Like, what would we do? It's like, oh, okay, man, like we should get to like a house that has bars on the windows. I mean, we had it all planned out. We had our whole survival planned out, and that was just like this really fond memory for me. So when we saw Resident Evil 2, I guess because I don't remember the commercials that well, I think I must have saw like images in a magazine, and it was like, oh my god, this is like Living Dead. Like there's zombies and you have to survive and you're trapped in a building. That's all I wanted, and so I remember me and my cousin going to an electronics boutique to go pick up the game and coming back and just being super excited to play it, and then being really frustrated with the controls and just being like, I don't know what this is. This is weird. I can't make it past the beginning area. We died a whole bunch of times on the beginning area. Like now I can just like zigzag through all the zombies, but back when I was in middle school, no, I wasn't in middle school by then. I think I was in high school. I was already in high school, and but back then, like that was just like freaking hard, and I kept dying, and so I was like, I don't know, dude, you gotta do it, and I left it up to my cousin, and he's the kind of gamer that gets really mad when things don't go his way. Like one time he was playing, I think it was Call of Duty 3, and he got killed, and he was laying on the floor, and he started rolling around and kicking his legs in the air, just cursing. He's fucking 5 years older than I am. So he was getting really fucking mad with the Resident Evil 2, and he was like, "All right, man, one more time, and then that's it." Like he was ready to like fuck the whole game, forget it. And I was like, I have to go to the restroom. When I came back, he had managed to get to the police station, but he died. But he got real close, so he's like, "Okay, no, I'll try it again." And then we finally got to the police station, and we just started doing better and better. And it was just really funny to me because even though it was the two of us together in a well lit living room, we were really fucking scared. Like I remember being scared of that game. The music was creepy, and I don't know, it was just seeing lickers and stuff like that, and the lickers could just tear the shit out of you, and it was just like it was a scary game. And my cousin was scared too, though he won't admit it, but he had to go to the restroom a lot. I don't know. Like I don't know if it's natural for someone to pee that much without drinking beer and without drinking tons of water, just like constantly having to go pee. Like the game was scaring the piss out of him. So it was really funny to me, and we played it over, I guess over the course of the weekend, and that became like a big deal for us then, you know. And after that, it was just like, oh man, all the games like this, I want to play. Silent Hill, Dino Crisis, of course, Resident Evil sequels and stuff like that, and it just I feel like that kind of shaped, uh, you know, my taste in video games. Because before, you know, when you're a kid, it's like here's a bunch of platformers that's really colorful. You jump on stuff and you collect sparkly things, you know. And I was actually getting kind of bored of that, and I was like, I don't really like platforming games, and I don't like. You know, as I said, my cousin's 5 years older than me, and so I was always kind of hanging out with my cousins. They're all older than me. I tend to not gravitate towards things that were for kids or even things that were like specifically for my age because I was always hanging out with people older, so I always had to kind of like skip all that stuff. So these like character action games of anthropomorphic animals and stuff, I skipped all that. I didn't bother to give those things a chance. So like I never played Jack and Daxter and Sly Cooper or you know stuff like that when I was a kid. So it's just like the hardcore action stuff, you know. It was all about Metal Gear and third person shooters, which are still my favorite type of game. Third person shooters are still my favorite type of game, even though they're probably the easiest to fall into being kind of mediocre or whatever. But They're still my favorite, and I always look forward to new ones. Anytime there's any games like, oh, it looks really cool, but it's an FPS, I was like, oh, well, okay. I mean, I'll take it, but I wish it was third person. Um, but anyways, so that got announced, and in this year to have stuff like Shenmue 3 and Final Fantasy 7 remake, and now Resident Evil 2 remake, which, man, people have been asking about that or talking about that. Any little jokes or teases, people take it all hardcore. People want to play the weird beta version of Resident Evil 2. Like, I think Resident Evil 2 is just like really high up there on fans like favorite lists, and I'm really really interested to see what it is they do. I hope they give us some kind of trailer, even if it's not gameplay, but just something that sets the mood. Um, but I'll be fine with whatever they do. Like, however, if they wanted to do it like Resident Evil Revelations and it kind of worked out like that, that's cool too. If they want to change things completely and be like, it's kind of odd for Leon and Claire to both be running around, the police station just constantly, just barely missing each other. So maybe they just go through the whole thing together, more or less. And it was like, okay, uh, you know, why not? There'd be parts where they get separated for sure, and then you'd have Sherry, and Leon would have Ada, or whatever. I'm just really happy that it's happening, and I just wanted to talk about that because I get really hyped up for stuff like this.